Oh, I was right on the drop. Right on. What's up? Hello. How are we doing? Hello, hello, hello. I can't see both of my chat programs are not updating, I think. Well, actually, it may just be that there aren't that many chats. What's up? Because I see Daniel's, but Daniel's didn't show up. I think it's because it was before chat was on. Oh, people are here. People are here. What's up? What's up? What's up? Hello. What up, Dalek, Brittany, Michael? Hello. How are you feeling today? I'm feeling good. I'm feeling very good. My canker sores feel good. They're still there, but they're in their point. The only thing that I have is this. It's like scratch because Bird got very excited and tackled me and had her mouth open and drug a tooth along my forehead. But that's just how it is. That's just how it is. What's up, John? Hello. Oh, I'm excited. I am excited because maybe, just maybe, the internet maybe works. Maybe. I ran like a 6-hour private stream that just, like fucking it was private, no one could join it, and I just ran it and I didn't have a single dropped frame. Now that doesn't mean that we won't that it won't happen. I am not nearly so confident as to as to think that it definitely won't happen. But I at least tried. And we considered what would happen if we need to break our lease. I don't want to. I do not want to move. But holy fuck. Knock on wood. There's a... If this doesn't work, there is like one more thing that we can do before we go to the more extreme side of things. There's another thing, but I shouldn't need to do any of this bullshit. But here we are. Negative talking budget already. The talking I wasn't talking before the stream started, but then the stream starts and it's a whole thing. I have thought about how I need to start the talking budget when I transition out of starting soon, but I haven't done that yet. I have not implemented that change yet. Yeah, knock on wood. Knock on wood. Ethernet cable? Oh, I've got Ethernet cables. Don't you worry. I've got Ethernet cables. It is far beyond in complication. I'm looking at the internet equipment with disdain right now. I hope that it feels it. Without giving spoilers, have you watched Hotted? I don't know if I know what Hotted is. Hotted? How hove has Heimdall. I don't know what Hotted is. Heroes of the Directory? I don't know. I wonder if Starlink might work for you. Maybe. I have a long list of potential things, but none of them should be necessary. A lot of them are expensive. And so I'm trying to make it work. We'll see. House of the Dragon. House of the Dragon. Gotcha. No, I have not. I read all of the Game of Thrones books, and I watched Game of Thrones, and Game of Thrones was really, really fun to watch with people in college. Like gathering around and watching it all together and like talking about it. But I did not have as much interest in watching it later. Like when House of the Dragon came out, I was out of college. So I had less interest in watching it. But Paige watched it. I think she liked it. I honestly don't really remember. Let's see. I mean, hey, we don't have a takeaway because we're still in 52. We don't have a takeaway. Don't have comment review or any of that. So I mean, we can kind of just get into it. You know what I'm schmaying? You know what I'm saying, guys? I will say, before we do get into it, there was something that I was going to say, but I don't remember what it was. We passed the 1-year anniversary of me doing Critical Eyes. Should be way further. We should be further. But I passed the 1-year mark, and just like the 1,000 subscriber thing that I have an idea for is this is the same, where like I have an idea for what I wanted to do for the anniversary, but like anniversary and milestone stuff just goes right on the bottom of the pile. I don't know why. But I have some ideas for both of them. So we will see if those come soon. I don't even want to pretend, or not pretend. I don't even want to foreshadow what's going to happen for them, because they are potentially so far away. Could we replace you with Paige then? You are not the first person to ask. That is a common question on stream and in my personal life. And you happen to ask it right when she's in the room, just so that she could hear. Good timing. Let's blame the sharks. I blame the dogs. The dogs eat the internet. Like the stream, and hi, I'm here and not here. Hello, Mustang. What's up? Definitely like the stream. I will blame the dirt man. Is the dirt man my landlord that lives in the walls? We can blame him. It's unironically partially his fault, so we can actually literally blame him. What up, Admiral Jack Barr? What's up? Yeah, but other than that, I think we're kind of ready to go. I don't want to make any promises, because things might always happen, what have you. But I'm gonna be upset if we cannot get through this episode today. I really, really want to, because health is good. So the only reason that we wouldn't be able to is if there's internet stuff, and there shouldn't be. So everyone cross your fingers and let's start. And it's muted. Great start. I also did notice that this episode is called In the Belly of the Beast, which could either mean that they do indeed execute on the immovable rod strategy, or just that they're referencing the immovable rod strategy in their titling, which is fair. It's a funny plan. They should absolutely reference it in the title. But I'm not quite sure which one it's going to be. Question: why is a goth in Hawaii? Why is a goth in Hawaii? This sounds like a dad joke. I'm not sure if it is, but that is what it sounds like. The one where Mega thinks we're teleporting into a belly. They were pitching far too long. Wait, that was the wrong one. They were the ones pitching it, man. It ain't on me. Let's see. Truffle. I need to turn down the padding a little bit on Truffle. It's like cutting off a lot of y'all's letters. Let's see. Let's turn down the padding a skosh. Yeah, that looks a little bit better. Then we can turn down the scale also a skosh. Okay, there we go. That looks a little bit better. How else can he hide from the sun under his black umbrella? What? What are we talking about that? I don't even know what we're talking about now. That is where Taliesin is. Oh, how is a goth? Taliesin is the goth. I got you now. Down needs to spread his eldritch influence. That's fair. I thought it was some sort of dad joke that I just wasn't picking up on, but I see now what's up. Polynesian gods might object. Potentially, yeah. He's invading their territory.
You come to a...
All right, now we can start. It's unmuted. Things are in the right places on the back end. Chat looks good. We're ready to go. Wait, I missed the key. Go.
Set of stairs that leads down into the next subterranean region, and you hear the voice again, much closer, like, hey, I hear your footsteps. You see a hand reaching out from behind some of the bars.
Put your hand back inside.
The hand kind of retracts, and as you look over...
That's a good lad. What's your name? Before I approach. Still far enough away.
Orn Fench at your service. Been in here far too long and very thirsty. I will be happily at your service, fair muscled man, should you see fit to relinquish me from these binds. And you look at him, he kind of looks like a lowly beggar, longish, tattered hair, wearing just...
CR's a bit loud. Can do.
General, tattered and soiled clothing, no shoes, feet look blistered and black.
I'm gonna call you Orn Blackfoot.
Blackfoot it is, Orn Blackfoot, at your service.
My name is Lord Grog.
Lord, it is my pleasure. And he kind of reaches through and grasps for your hand. His fingers are bony and thin, and he kind of takes it and shakes it with what little strength he has.
Man, you are looking a little risky. I'll pour out a little ale into a goblet, and I'll give him a goblet of ale.
He snatches it from you and slurps into it, extremely thirsty.
Not too fast. You don't get the bubbles. And I'll reach into the bag of holding, and I'll have a dry food ration. I have 3 left. Now I have 2. And I'll give him some dry food rations.
He takes it and eagerly starts jamming them into his mouth. As he's eating, and he's not even talking to you, this is just like sheer hunger, the need to survive has taken over, and he's just cramming it, and they're like kind of choking a couple times and kind of keeping himself okay.
Yourself, lad. Please tell me, why are you in here, Orn Blackfoot?
This is just Ripley again. They only meet Ripley in jail cells, and every time throughout the campaign, she somehow convinces them to continue to let her live. But they only encounter her as an illusory image within a jail cell forever. I would watch Grog go and check the mail. Yeah, I feel that. I think that would be fun as well, yeah. She escapes VM but gets caught by everyone else. Exactly. Because she keeps hiding behind doors, which everyone else can deal with. But, like, how are they going to get through the jail door? It doesn't make sense.
Well, everyone just started yelling, and they abandoned us all here. Yeah, it's been terrible. Hearing the moans and screams, going silent. I thought they abandoned us all.
No, they did, to be clear. They totally abandoned you. You are really the only person I know of that's in here. All the other mates around you, they're either sleeping or,
I appreciate the food and drink. You've certainly done. At which point a voice comes from about 2 cells over behind you that goes,
Did I hear food and drink? Food and drink, please.
Orn, did you kill all those dry food rations just now? Did you just...
You see him very discreetly pocket.
We have tie, but it will slowly go down. So as I'm silent, that's how we started out with negative words, is because as I'm silent and as we go, the words slowly go down. So there's the overall cap, but then there's also a persistent decrement. Yeah. Which I want to at some point, as I continue to kind of build out the budget as a concept, display more of that stuff to you to like make it more clear what's going on screen. But it's all working in the back end. I just got to make visual elements for it. We need Cabby Lame to poke fun at VM and their doers. Oh, I don't know who Cabby Lame is, but yeah. What is the talking budget? The talking budget, we are also, I think, under speed. No, we're at the right playback. Yeah, we're at 1.25. The talking budget is essentially a replacement for the timer. It's to make sure that I don't talk too much, because my tendency is to go off on long tangents or to comment on every small thing. So the talking budget makes sure that I only comment on the big important things, so that we don't get a 20-hour stream. You probably know Gabby Lame, but just not by name. He's called Viral TikToker and not given credit a lot. Is he the guy that does like the looking at things, like the thing? I'm not very on TikTok, but I am aware of things. Is he the one that's like, that one? I think I know that guy. I want to see Mega use the entire talking budget explaining the talking budget. Yeah, honestly.
Can summon his rope.
Oh, everything you gave me is gone. I'm sorry, friend.
What an appetite. Do you mind regurgitating a little like a mama bird into my hand?
What?
Never mind. Don't move. And I'll walk over to see where the other voice is coming from.
Okay. As you turn on the way, there is the next set of bars you see behind there. A man in his 40s, also extremely thin and gaunt. Reddish, long, thin beard. Long, kind of unkept brownish red hair that is just kind of crimped up around the base of it, like it's just gone almost into dreadlock territory from how long he's been in there and mistreated. You can see like dried blood in the corner of his mouth. He looks up to you.
Sir, if you would be... Grog?
And a moment of recognition hits you. This is Abris Noja.
Oh, shit! Abris is a very powerful, he has knowledge of the arcane and stuff, right?
I definitely thought that Abris Noja, I don't know why, but in my head, Abris Noja was a lady, but we have Abris Noja in our notes. He. Yeah. My only notes on Abris Noja are total rando. Saved Vox Machina during the Winter's Crest in Westrun and hasn't been mentioned since. So I'm aware. I'm up to date on Abris Noja. Is in the jail. Abris Noja, interesting.
Saved?
He saved us when the white dragon came to
the first winter.
I was frozen in ice. Yeah, that guy.
I found this Boba Fett. Sweet.
He looks pretty wrecked right now.
Oh shit, give him food, Grog.
Abris nosebleed. Hold on, real quick, look, and I'll take the second to last dry food ration. I'll give him that, and I'll give him a thing of ale. I'm sorry, it's really dry.
Thank you, friend. Thank you very much.
Oh, yeah, you're very welcome. Hold on. Is there anybody else in this hallway before I give away my last bit of food?
You hear two voices simultaneously down the end of the hallway come in. One of which is like a very weak female voice. The other is a very loud kind of,
Hey, bring me food this way, please!
and the woman's like, please, I ask of you, I'm starving. And you see these two hands come out of the two cells in the distance.
Right, I'm gonna pick a number between 1 and 10. Ready, go.
There's an awkward pause.
3.
7! Definitely 7!
I lean over to Abris Noja and I say, I actually don't know any numbers. So, you know what? We're going to deliberate and we'll be with you in just a moment. Abris, how old are you? Why are you in here? Who put you in here?
I've only been in here for about a week. Got in an altercation in my store when these brutes started walking in. They threw me in here. Didn't even...
What up, Spencer? I have been thinking about... because I'm still reading the series in my free time. So I have been thinking about doing like maybe some talking heads, just like talking about what I thought about like Words of Radiance, like the rest of it. The main problem is to do like the book clubs as I was doing them took way too much work, but I might do some like little recaps. Yeah, every time I've tried to do like a small thing, it winds up either blowing up into way too much work or it's not enough work for me to feel like it's good. So I'd like to do more book club type stuff, and I have not given up thinking about it. But I haven't quite gotten to a format that I like yet. Can't wait for them to find Vecna hiding in jail. I know.
Let me take my spell.
They really do
Oh,
find
that is a
everyone.
crime. I love. Well, I can't even say it. Hold on, stay right there. I'll get you out. And I walk back to Owen Blackfoot. I go, look, hey, so I gave you food. Can you do anything special?
What?
Like, can you make your hands turn to flame? Can you disappear? Are you really good with like a bow and
No.
arrow?
No. And he reaches out and kind of starts grabbing at your clothes though and pulling it. He's like,
Oh,
but I have friends in many places though. I can get you things. I can make connections.
You know, most of the people here are dead, right? Like, they're probably not.
Not even here. Imon. I can get you anything you need from Amon.
Right.
I can get you from Stillbend. Your land's away. Just name it and get me out of here.
How
And
long
I
has it
can.
been since you've been to Iman?
Few months?
You got any loved ones there?
Terrible.
Oh, no, I'm just asking. Like, if you want me to take a note from you to them or something, you know.
No, if you can release me, I'd be more than happy to take it myself, if you don't mind.
Yeah, no, I'm still deliberating, sorry. Enjoy the food.
Thank you for the tier 2, Farrowin. I appreciate you. I appreciate you very much. I need to look. I don't think I spelled his name right. Where are we? 5546. I want to make sure that I get the note right. I can turn into a plant. I do resemble a potted plant in my normal life occasionally. So that Orn, not Oran, Orn Blackfoot. Yeah. Also, I don't know why Farrowin didn't. It got captured on here, but not in the other one, which is weird. But thank you again. I appreciate it. I'm not 100% sure the subtitles are necessarily spelled right. Not sure if anyone's going over them specifically. Fair enough, but it's about the closest I can get to an official spelling.
That you snuck in your jacket pocket, and I go back towards the front desk area. And I try and find any. Is there a lever on the wall to release the cells, or can I look for keys?
You make an investigation check.
Oh, me.
Yes.
Your fate is in excellent hands. Oh shit, you're not dead. -2 for a 17.
Ah! Alrighty. So, after spending the good part of an hour or so clambering through, just throwing bookshelves over and taking the desk and actually like throwing it onto its back and pulling drawers out. This is Grog's method of investigation here. You're just,
trying some spinners to go in the lock. Just
yeah.
Okay.
You break off a few forks in some locks. For practice. You know, whatever looks small enough and should fit, though it doesn't, but you make it fit, and it doesn't help. You do eventually find in one of the cells, closed and locked, as you look by, there is one person in guard armor, in Western guard armor, that is in the cell, not moving.
Hey, are you? I'll kick him in the back a little.
No movement.
Okay.
That's a good example of like that small little sequence that they just did there of like Grog rolled investigation, Matt took the result and like described what he was doing and how effective it was and how he went about it. I think that a lot of DMs, understandably and a lot of the times rightfully so, are afraid of describing what a character does for fear that they will describe something that the player then says, no, that's not what my character would do. And I think that it can kind of change as you go through the campaign. One of the things that we talked about, I don't remember if it was in this episode or if it was in an episode back or something, talking about how like we're coming in on like the third of their like campaign time. You know, that is like the Vox Machina Critical Role that we know is like so far into them playing these characters and of Matt being aware of these characters. And I definitely think that the way that you DM and like the things that you can do as a DM shift as the campaign goes on. Oh, that's good to know. Thank you, John. Shift as the campaign goes on. Like, I was talking about with Keyleth of like, you can be more nuanced, you can be less blatant with a lot of your characterization, especially of your flaws, as the campaign goes on and the other players and the DM get to know your character better. And I think that the same thing goes kind of from the other side of it, of as a DM, as you get to know your characters more, as you get to know Grog more, you can take the occasional liberty to describe something that you are pretty confident would be how the player would want it described. And that can be a thing after, in like your post-session like recap or discussion is, hey, you know, was that accurate to like how you think that would have gone as Grog? And you can start leaning into that more and more as the campaign goes and you get to know these characters more as a DM. Like, I don't think that Matt should do that sort of thing off of the investigation check, even when, even like, regardless of anything else, you know, regardless of if it's Grog, at the beginning of the campaign, because Matt probably doesn't know Grog well enough at that point. But as he has gotten to know him better, you can take a few more liberties. It also kind of draws into our like discussion of like telling characters what they feel. But I think that this one is a little bit less maybe controversial, because, you know, what characters do within the world and what they're even able to do in the world is kind of it's kind of already up to the DM to like facilitate that and to tell them. So I think it's a little bit less, like I said, a little bit less controversial to do that. But I think you can take even more liberties with that as you get further into the campaign and understand, like, you know, he's observed Travis playing Grog for much, much longer at this point than he had, you know, at the beginning of the campaign. So I think it's a very, and then those sorts of things can help you with pacing. They can help you get through some of the more boring stuff, or not boring stuff necessarily, but they can help speed through an interesting version of what happened with that investigation check.
Kick him harder.
No movement.
I look down the hallway, I back up a few steps, and I really run up and kick him really hard.
He just kind of lurches over.
I think you're also right, Daniel. I do think from a player perspective, it is, I think, more obvious that a player can say, no, that's not what I do, rather than no, that's not how I feel. Even though I think both of those are equally valid statements to come from a player. But I do agree with you, Daniel, that the tables I've run at and the players I've run with, and even me as a player, I would definitely feel more comfortable saying that's not what I do than that's not what I feel. And I honestly don't know why. Like, off the cuff, I don't know why I would feel more comfortable saying that's not what I do rather than that's not what I feel. Because that's not what I feel seems like it should be something that is like more within your control as a player and that you should be more comfortable like denying or engaging with. But I definitely agree. Like, putting myself into that mindset, I think I would be way more comfortable denying an action. In real life, we aren't fully in control of how we feel, only how we react to those things. That is fair. That is a good explanation of it. Of like, yeah, you can't always control what you think, what you feel, but you can control your actions. So when someone takes away that control, it feels easier to agree or disagree with it. Whereas if like the DM tells you how you feel, they are essentially orbiting the world and something you already don't have control over all the time in real life, which does lean into that conversation of when is it okay as a DM to tell your players how they feel? Because I think from a realism standpoint of the DM being the arbiter of the world, of the things you can't control, there is a certain amount of sense to a DM occasionally telling you how you feel. but I think that this hits on is that fun. Like in my escapist fantasy, do I want to be reminded that I'm not always in control of my feelings? And I think that that is maybe a good point as to why that is more contentious than maybe the DM telling you some other things. Very interesting.
Over onto the side, not moving.
Yeah, you're dead. Can I pat him down?
Yeah, you reach in and you can smell the decay starting to set in. And as you get close, you can kind of reach through the bars and see him. The actual area's closed and the door appears to be locked. And inspecting the body very quickly, you can see that he was stabbed multiple times from behind. And probably left in here to bleed out.
No perception.
But you do find on him what appears to be a ring of keys. Not directly on his body, but like underneath the corpse. Like he was someone, you gather best you can, someone probably grabbed it, got their way out, used that moment to stab him and escape.
Nice. I take the keys and I, like, jauntily run by Owen Blackfoot. And I go to Abris and I say, hey, do you know who those other two voices are at the end of the hallway? Like, did you have anyone with you when you got put in here?
No, no one with me. Although, been plenty of angry discussion from that dwarven fellow down the way.
Yeah, he's got, like, a really rough accent.
I can hear ya!
Shit. My voice carries. Are you all right here for 1 minute? I have to go perform an interview real fast.
I'm all right, and he just finishes eating a little bit of the ration that you gave him, like dried meats and bread.
All right, sit tight. All right, you two, put both your hands outside the cell where I can see them.
They both put their hands out. The dwarven man, you can see, puts hand up. The skin is very wrinkled, and you can see like the varicose veins on it. The arm hair that you see on the dwarven arm is white, like bright white. The female hand comes out is thin, but the skin looks a little softer and younger.
Female Elven, or is this female?
Human.
Don't ask me. Who said 3?
And the dwarf voice go,
I
No, look, it's...
Okay, I was a little bit worried about whether or not the daughter would be alive. And I will say really quick, we have an ad that starts in 30 seconds. So I'll say really quick. It's a very quick thought. I think the daughter should either be alive in jail or somewhere in the city, or if she was going to be dead, she needed to be killed in the battle. Because I think that Matt giving them this quest to like find the daughter, deliver the last words, either needs to be completable, or it not being completable needs to be a separate result of their actions. Because like Reginald dying, result of their actions, dying breath, go tell my daughter I love her, whatever. Or not dying breath, from beyond the grave. So like that's the consequence. If the daughter then dies and they essentially like fail the quest, that needs to be like a separate consequence. So I was a little bit worried that the daughter would be dead. And I'm hoping that this is the daughter and that she's alive and that they can do all the stuff. So yeah, I think it either needed to be that she is alive or she needed to die in the battle. And since she didn't die in the battle, or at least we don't think she did, then, and I think we would have needed to know that it was her beforehand. Like, I don't think she could be like an unnamed civilian that then just like randomly dies in the battle. We would need to know that it was her. But with that to chew on, we're going to go on a quick break. And we'll be right back for more. Wrong one. Hello. What's up? What's up? What's up? Oh yeah, it does. So it decrements every. How often? It decrements every minute. Every minute, I think. Having my phone in my pocket, wanting to Subway for lunch, delete a bunch of comments. Okay, I was wondering. A bunch of Daniel's comments got deleted. I wasn't sure why. Oh no, I still have them, and it didn't delete too much. That was silly. It's all good, all good. But yeah, so it decrements every minute, and it decrements a certain rate. It decrements about I think 100 right now is the current decrement rate. I didn't even know I was getting abused by months. It's all good. It's all good. And Daniel's back, so it's all I can see and I could see it all, and I'd already read all of them, so it's all it's funny. YouTube is weird, man. I don't even know how that even happened. I assumed that Daniel got timed out on accident, but then he didn't, so I don't even know how YouTube did that. The keys in my pocket had it in for you. Lol.
It's always lucky number 3, right? That's what they say. Who said that?
Racist little pig.
And the arms kind of withdrawing. That's me.
Oh, good. Hi. You look nice.
Look down, you see a young woman, maybe in like her late teens, early 20s, long brown hair, tangled, kind of covering one half of her face. You can see the edges of her lips are cracked from just dryness and lack of moisture. She's wearing, and both of them actually are wearing just these long, simple cloth kind of drape over robes that are just, for any prisoners in here that need to not be wearing the normal clothing.
I've got 3 of the goblets left. Can I both give them a goblet and some ale just to wet the lips and, get a drink in?
They eagerly take it and scarfing down the door. It's like, oh, that's nothing. You look at the door now, he's elderly, crotchety, half blind, one clouded eye. But for being a man who's been stuck in prison and slowly dying, he's got this kind of wry grin on him at all times.
You're turning away good ale. Looks like you've seen many a moon.
You're telling me that? But no, seriously, that's like half full. Come on, don't be stingy.
I like your gall, and I pour more ale in until
That's the ticket.
It's like spilling on the sides and getting some of this kind of bright, pushy white beard. And each bit that dribbles down, he goes, catches it, and then pushes it back in. Not wasting a single drop.
Beautiful. If you don't mind, ladies first.
Oh my goodness. I think one comment that I had a high. That makes sense, John. Yeah. It's very hard. This is one of the, I think this is truly one of the, this is one of the tough things about D&D, about like the social and exploration pillars in D&D, is that there's no, and I actually have a video that I'm working on, like maybe a scripted video. Whoa, a scripted video, about like why we use mechanics in the first place, like why do we have like mechanics and rules at all, and in kind of like thinking about it, I've talked to you guys about it several times, about in several different instances, and I've been doing some research for it. And one of the things that I sort of realized is it is kind of similar to soft and hard magic, of when you have soft magic, which is, essentially less mechanics, less rules. The magic has to like serve the story, right? The story of Lord of the Rings is not about the One Ring. We're not thinking about how is Frodo gonna or Bilbo, I don't remember which is which, I'm gonna be honest. How is the Baggins going to subvert the magic of the ring? How is he gonna get around it? Like, we don't know if it like totally affects, if it's just his emotions that it affects, if it's motivations, if it, directly changes thought patterns or if it just, makes you react differently. Like, we don't know any of the mechanics of the ring because that's not the point. There is a separate, larger story that the One Ring serves. The One Ring is just like a force on a story about fellowship and friendship and people changing after, large experiences. And I think about that similarly especially with the social pillar of, because there are essentially no possible, or not no possible, but there are few mechanical consequences you can dole out in a purely social situation. The social pillar is basically, kind of very soft magic. Like, just like the One Ring, where we don't know exactly how it affects Frodo. We don't know exactly how a persuasion check will affect the person on the other side of things. We don't know exactly how an intimidation check will affect it. A general charisma check. And therefore, the checks have to have a larger and more defined story that they are serving. They don't generate story in and of themselves. Like, to compare it to the combat pillar, the mechanics of combat, you can set up a situation where the mechanics tell a story for you. Like the actual way that people interact with the mechanics of the game generate a story just by like existing and people interacting with them. And so without that, when you're in a social situation, you have to have a story in mind. And so like when we talk about like social consequences, you have to have a consequence within your story. Like if you have the One Ring affecting Frodo, it has to have a consequence within the story, like he doesn't have like a mechanic that he can interact with that the ring is affecting. So it has to give him consequences in the story. It has to strain his relationship with Sam. It has to strain his relationship with other people within the story. So all of that to wrap back around to G. Hercup's comment, something like a charisma saving throw outside of magic, I think that's fair. Like, I think you can totally do a charisma save. But the thing about it in magic, right? The thing about like a charisma save against a spell is that there's a very distinct consequence from that happening. And I don't think that that's like a good or a bad thing from like how you're, thinking about using it, about like using a charisma save outside of magic. But I do think that it's very kind of built into player brains of expecting a very like straightforward and obvious consequence when they roll a saving throw. And so I think that would be the main hurdle you would have to get over. Because like, I think it makes total sense to use saving throw and charisma saves outside of combat. I think that makes absolute sense outside of like a mechanical thing of like a spell or a combat or whatever. But you have to make sure that there's a distinct and, especially while you're getting your players used to it, I would say borderline obvious consequence. Once your players are more used to it, you might be able to get a little bit more nuanced with like what is the consequence of that failure. But especially as you're like kind of easing them into this maybe non-typical or atypical way of using things, you might have to be a little bit more obvious with it. But that said, I don't even think, like, when you say, like, wouldn't be cool at most tables, I don't think there's any, like, actual reason it can't be cool. But I do agree that it would be something that, like, a lot of players really wouldn't be used to, And you would have, like, a little bit of a hurdle to get them used to it. I think your rant about needing consequences made me realize that's what I'm missing with druids talking to plants and animals. Right now, there's zero possibility for downside. They just get info. Yeah, I mean, that's in not everything. Not everything always has to have a downside. Like, do you mean like a spell, like talk to plants and animals, or do you mean like being able to do it as like a class feature? Can druids just talk to plants and animals as a class feature? I don't remember. But like, there can be consequences or there can be payment. So like with a lot of those spells in D&D, there is payment for it. Even rituals, you're paying in time, essentially. You're paying in like increased risk because you're taking additional time to do it. So I think that, the consequence can be very, very broad of like, paying a slot is a consequence to a degree. I think the downside is spending a spell slot. Oh, yeah. In Daggerheart, it's 0 resource expense, only possibility of the ability failing that might change in a future update, of course. And I mean, this gets into a larger, like, what are the consequences around a failure? Like, if you fail an athletics check to move a boulder, what is the consequence of that? I think that there is, in something like Daggerheart, there's a very easy consequence of a stress. And that's one of the challenging things around, like, the skill check system, is there's no distinct consequence for failure in the skill check system, period. Like, the skill check system is a, like, soft magic system to an extent. And so anytime you interact with that magic, big asterisk, there needs to be a consequence outside of the skill check system. There needs to be a consequence within the story. So, not being able to move the boulder is a consequence depending. Right, yeah, like the consequence is that you can't move the boulder, but is that actually a consequence? If you can retry over and over and there's no consequence to like retrying over and over, then that failure, that not being able to move the boulder, stops being a consequence. But if not being able to move the boulder means that the thing that's chasing you is catching up, that's absolutely a consequence then. So like all of these skill check stuff have to be kind of embedded within the story, if that makes sense. They have to have an impact on the story in some way. I wouldn't let the player retry. That is okay. Then that is a separate consequence. Essentially, the consequence there is that they have proved that within the narrative they're not strong enough. That's totally a consequence. Because that's not endemic within the skill check system. That's not something that like the skill check system says, hey, this is like how you run this consequence. But I do think that is a story/narrative consequence of, if you fail, you have proved within the larger narrative, within the larger story, that you are unable to move this. So no retrying, you cannot do it. That is the consequence within the story of this skill check. Because, according to the skill check system, there's no reason that they can't redo it. But I think that that's a good example of a narrative consequence for the result of a skill check. Yeah. For me, the downside is a large chance of miscommunication. I mean, that's totally fair. Like that's adding in a layer of risk. It's just like having like a language proficiency has no like actual downside to an extent. But yeah, with those sorts of like proficiencies, like if it's just like a language where like you can just talk to plants and animals, I consider that similar to like just knowing Elvish. Like sometimes there are just like additional abilities that you gain as a character. And that should just, every character should have a certain amount of those kind of like just regular abilities. Is this NPC calls you ugly, make a charisma saving throw, fail, you start crying? That wouldn't be, I see. So like that comes definitely back into like the forced action stuff, which would be a lot more controversial at a lot of tables. Yeah. I either wouldn't let the player retry or I'd up the DC if someone else wanted to try. Yeah, so again, both narrative, because like the DC is a representation of the narrative and the difficulty within the narrative. So raising the DC is a good example of like a narrative consequence. Yeah. I don't think 5e handles the middle ground well, where you can retry endless times. I don't think, I mean, I don't know if there is a way, I don't know if that middle ground actually really exists. Like fully honestly. You either need a mechanic to handle it, in which case it's mechanicized, it's mechanized, or it's softer. There's no like literal consequence for it, and so you have to make one within the narrative. For the insult cry example, I've seen a lot of really good players impose that sort of thing on themselves, taking a mechanical downside where nothing in the rules say you must, but imposing it on your players is generally considered bad form. And that's something that you have to really juggle, is if you're going to use a skill check, you need to have a consequence, skill check or save, a consequence that the players will be cool with. Now, if that's a consequence within the narrative, if it's a consequence that the mechanic actually specifies, whatever. But one could argue that the player doesn't choose to fall down a pit trap. No. I think that's absolutely something you could argue. Yeah. So it largely depends on if your players are cool with that sort of thing or not. It does go into our larger discussion of, we don't always control our emotions. Like, I know for myself, a lot of times when I cry, it is not because I'm like super down with it. A lot of times that is unintentional. So it's, there's definitely a line to discuss there. And that goes largely into the type of like tone, like narrative tone that you want at your table. Whether or not you want the players to feel like they have less control, or whether, you're looking for more of like a heroic, they're always in control of themselves type of heroics, It's just a shame that only, I don't disagree. I don't disagree with that at all. But yeah, I think it's mostly because those things can directly affect health. So it's a lot easier to build them in. It's one of the reasons that I think one of the biggest misses in D&D is not having a stress equivalent system. Because when you have this generic stress system, you can take mechanics that are softer, like skill checks, and you can either give a narrative consequence or you can engage with stress. Which I think it's a really, and then to take that one step further, one of the things I love about Daggerheart is that you can crystallize that consequence into the fear token to then deliver consequences later. So there is a consequence. The consequence is that the DM gains fear, but you're not forced to represent it within the narrative. So if they fail the charisma save, but as a DM and as a player, there's no consequence that you can really come up with for yourself, then in Daggerheart, you take a fear. But in D&D, there's no equivalent. There's not even something like a stress mechanic to interact with. So I would really, really love something like a stress mechanic in 5.5 or whatever edition they're working on. I think that would be really, really helpful towards giving more obvious downsides towards those sorts of things. Yeah. There's usually a list of consequences. Yeah, true. It definitely isn't really defined raw. Yeah. 5e has enough bones to put a lot of really great systems onto it. Yeah, I agree. It does. The new exhaustion can theoretically be used. That's true. It's one of the reasons I love exhaustion. I love exhaustion. I would really like, if D&D is going to pitch 3 pillars of play, I would like 3 mechanics that cater primarily to each pillar, but can be used in other pillars. So I would like for there to be health, stress, exhaustion. I think that it's like your literal capability, and those can all interact with each other. But I would love if exhaustion was kind of targeted towards exploration, stress is targeted towards social, and HP is targeted towards combat. But again, they could be referenced in all of the other pillars, and they all interact with each other. I would really love that. But I'm also down with them just having exhaustion. I think that new like 1 D&D exhaustion is just leagues and miles better than 5e exhaustion. And if we don't get any sort of stress mechanic in 5.5, I will be using exhaustion similarly. Yeah. But anyways.
Love, what is your name and why are you in here?
It's Amelia. I was taken in because they were the beasts were dealing with an uprising from some of us farm folk, and well, they took me as leverage in the argument and stopped their arguing.
Your farm folk?
Yeah.
Do you have any family?
I do.
What are their names?
It's my father, Reginald.
Sorry, I had a bit of split pea soup. It's just disagreed with me. It's all right. Yep.
Are they okay? Have you seen them? Have you seen anything
No.
out there?
We should get you out of here. There's really bad stuff going up outside. We're trying to get everyone out of the town.
You hear a voice in the way say, "Everyone out of the town! That sounds like a great plan." And the dwarf behind you is like, "Well, then get us out! I'm sick of this hell!"
Hey, just a minute, hold on. And so, hold on. Can I try the keys on Amelia's cell?
You go through the key ring, just probably has a good 40 or so different keys on it. And so you go through 1, 2, 3, 4.
6.
Yeah.
6.
in what would be the late teens, and what to you seems like a forever, 1 key does and hit the lock and it opens. She, who's been kind of sitting down the whole time, stands up weakly and grabs the bars and pulls herself up and kind of waits for you to let her through if she does, just being patient.
Amelia, if you would, please stay with me. Funny, I believe I heard of a man named Reginald. Very brave. Not sure where he is, but we're going to get you out of this city. Just stay put for a moment. All right, you salty bastard. What's your name?
Old Davin. What's your name?
Lord Grog. Emphasis on the Lord.
Lord Grog.
Yeah.
Lord of...
The Vales of Strongjaw.
I'll take it, that's fine. Get me out, please.
Right. Oh, keys. And can I take the key ring and can I prod?
Dang it, I knew the name, and then I was writing down Reginald's daughter's name, and then I forgot. Old Davin.
The metal key ring, is it like one solid piece, or has it been knurled and I can maybe bend it open?
I mean, it is one solid piece been looped twice, but it has been, the iron itself has been kind of bent around itself to make a nice, tight form fit on one end. Go make a strength check.
26.
You were preparing yourself for a full pull, and with but a minor twitch, your muscles just bends open.
Can I take half the keys and give them to Amelia and say, love, would you go and let out the kind gentleman with the reddish beard and a little blood on his mouth named Abris? Will you try these keys and see if his cell will open? Not yet for Mr. Blackfoot across the way.
Right, I will. And she rushes off and starts fumbling through the keys, and you hear in the distance making her way through the keys as
I'll take the other half and start trying to get what?
Davin?
Old Davin.
Old Davin. I like old.
Have we
Old
met,
Davin.
we met old Davin?
You have not met old Davin, no.
Okay. Davin, what did you get put in here for?
Trying to find out. The real drunk and woke up in here. Well, everyone started screaming and running away, and I'm like, "Get run away, you pansies!" And they did run away. And everything else.
Oh, I love this
Not backfired, but not a problem now.
Yeah. I definitely understand the mentality, and it's a deep well of discussion of roll there, don't roll there, that's trivial, that's not trivial. And ultimately it's it's up to the DM ultimately, but yeah, we can roll our eyes a little bit at it and say, okay, that's a little bit of a silly ruling, but yeah, yeah, true, Daniel. It's I've definitely done things that are incongruent. I've definitely gone against tons of advice that I've given on this stream. It happens, but we could definitely have a nice old chuckle and eye roll to ourselves within chat. Yeah, and I mean that is valid. That's that's kind of what I'm saying. Is it depends on the DM, and it really depends on how much you want to roll at your tables. How much you want the dice to impact things. I hesitate away from, anything that I'd make below 5. But I think that making it 2 is valid. I'm just being so yeah. I agree. It's Matt loves the dice, man. He loves the dice. And I used to comment on those sorts of things. And it's still fun to comment on, but but now I've got a talking budget. Travis is having fun. He is. And Matt and his players love the dice. I don't get it. I'm not a Math Rocks guy. Obviously I use them and I think there's a lot of benefit, but boy do they love them in a way that I do not.
and yes, the one snowblind eye doesn't move at all. The other one kind of glances around. That one's completely stuck in the forward position.
Is that magic?
I mean, certainly gets the ladies.
Yeah, it does.
But no, it's a reminder to not to not mess with your people.
Oh, well, I'm sorry to hear that. Well, that makes me look very tough.
That's what I say, aye.
Now, if we let you out of here, right, which we're actually in the process of doing, what was your weapon of choice?
Oh.
And he thinks to himself a minute.
I'm gonna have to say my weapon of choice would be bloodvine ale. Aye.
Bloodvine ale.
Oh, for picking poison. That's my favourite. Aye.
Yeah, no, he's a dwarf, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Obviously, we are brothers of the beard. Like to fight with, right?
Oh, a cool set.
It's that poke. In chat, whatever.
Once upon a time I was quite the dullest, so if you got something pointy and prickling, I can spear him with the best of them.
I do have a great sword of frenzy, but it's a two-handed weapon.
That's not my preference.
I do also have one regular, just a regular longsword. It's about the best I have as far as.
Yeah, I'll do. Certainly. I'll take a long sword.
All right, so have I got the door open yet?
Not yet. But at this time, there's an awkward pause now where you don't have any more conversation. But you still finish the doom. About a minute later, he's in there. Come on. Eventually, it opens up. Yes! And he kind of pushes it open as you pull it open. So this.
Before I give you this sword,
Aye.
Are you up for the fight of your life?
Yes.
Can I insight check him?
Yes, you may.
There we go.
Oh, yeah. Come on, Trev.
8, 9.
Nine.
Go Tarv. Go Tarv.
He seems
Yeah, Tarv.
a little.
Scottish.
he seems a little malnourished and a little confused.
Right.
But nothing sets you off as untrustworthy.
Look, your expression says a lot. What if I put an excellent meal in your belly. Sharpen that sword some more. Would you like to fight for some glory come the morrow?
Sure, why not?
That's what I thought. If you would go join Amelia, I'll have to get my good friend Abris Noja out of his cell, and then we're gonna go have a meeting, because there's gonna be a big feast tonight. It's gonna be delicious.
Oh, great. I'll be there for that. Right? Where's it happening?
You know, it's very secret. Yeah, secret location, TBD.
Right. I'll wait for you.
Yeah.
And he walks out, taking the keys from you as he runs off towards Amelia.
No, she got an Abris.
At this point, yeah, Noja has stepped out of the cell. It's kind of like putting an arm on her. You see, he's actually having a hard time standing, and she's kind of helping support him, even though she's having a hard time standing.
No, Percy's gone. Shit. And I mean, this is actually kind of interesting. Like reading this, I'm like, oh, I'm kind of the opposite. I'm a bit more. Well, I used to be a lot more chaotic. And I started off in TTRPGs wanting to be much more controlled. And then I've gotten more controlled in real life. And I think I've started kind of slowly transitioning towards liking more randomness. So I think that there's certainly a level of the escapism dictates a lot of what you might like or not like within the games. Because I definitely started off like hating wild magic, but I was a very chaotic little gremlin when I was younger in real life. So I think that might have been part of it. High roll games can be lots of fun, just feels different. Yeah, it's all just different things. Different likes and dislikes. His patron called him back to the dark void. You believe that? Yeah. I definitely especially in high school when I started DMing, I was much more the chaotic type. I'm not even saying wild magic good at low roll, high roll. I was just a little chaos gremlin in high school, and I hated wild magic flat out. And I think that those two things are connected. And as I have gotten less chaotic in my real life, I've softened a lot on higher rolling and on wild magic. So I think there's definitely something to Brittany's comment of I like the chaos at the table because I don't like it IRL. I think that there's a little bit of something there of like you're looking to escape from real life. You're a reformed goblin. I am a reformed goblin. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. I don't know if I've ever told this story on stream, and I will give the very abridged version. But at like the end of freshman year, like first year of high school, we had like a small pond next to the school, and our science teacher, I think she was like a biologist before she started teaching, so she liked to go outside. And we were in like the finals week, and she was like, all right, do you guys want to study for finals in class, or do you guys want to go for a walk around the pond? And we were all like, pond walk. And as we went, someone made like a joke about my gremlin energy, about like, oh, we can't go out towards the pond, like Jack will probably jump in. And like the words hit my ears, and I was like, jump in, pond. And it was the first period of the day, and long story short, I did, and I had to go through the rest of the day with very soggy clothes. And then at the end of the day, there was a big what do you call it? Not lecture, but it's like whole school went into the gym. It's like announcements. It was an awards ceremony. And I don't remember what the award was. It was something along the lines of like most like positively influential assembly. Thank you, John. Assembly. It was like it was like greatest positive influence. It was something very ironic like that. And I got an award, and I am in still wet clothes, 5 hours later. And I'm itchy and I'm uncomfortable, and I get in, and the president of our school, who is the sweetest woman I have ever met. She was so sweet, and she goes to give me a hug as I accept the thing, and I like stick out my hand to like shake because I did not want her to get all wet from hugging me, and she looked very confused. And then I think she found out later. But yeah, that was my sort of energy for a lot of high school, was very, very class clown chaos gremlin. Who could have guessed? I needed attention? It's such a surprise. In election years, my games get way less political. Oh yeah, I feel that. I very much feel that. Yeah. It's a lot of like, you don't want to engage with the stuff that like you have to engage with in real life and is like so stressful in real life. Yeah. I knew your name wasn't technically secret, but it's still jarring to hear you use it. That is because I generally refrain from using it because yeah, it's not secret, but I want to not make it like a frequently used thing just to delay the doxing. I know it'll happen someday, but the more I can delay it, the better. So me, of that kid not using your real name. You know what's crazy is they probably did use my real name. That's not even the name that I said. But I've got a nickname that friends and family use, and that's Jack. Jack is not even my real name, which is another layer against the doxers. I'm always safe. I think Little was joking. Oh, I know. Yeah. I know. But yeah, that's I've got several layers of defenses. It's kind of like hearing your first name of your teacher in high school. It's not a secret, but it feels deeply weird to hear it. Yeah, I can imagine that. I can see that. Yeah. Anyways, what's under the mask? Another mask. Yeah, I've got like I'm actually Travis Willingham. I know I haven't been working out lately, but that's my real identity.
Oh no!
Man, I know a lot of people that are going to be really, really happy to see you.
Ah, really? Well, I'm very happy to see these people. Anybody, really. They're not the inside of this blasted prison.
Oh, get him.
That's alright.
I'm trying. Percival and his technology.
There we go. Welcome back.
Hi, Percy.
Could I ask you a question? So I have this new axe, right? It's really nice. I got it off the leader of Goliath. Real prick. It's really strong, and I've known about it for years. There's nothing like funny about. Actually, if I give this to you, will you just tell me if you like hear anything?
They took my spell book when they threw me in here. If we could...
Yeah, I feel you, John. There's a president that was like that, right? I think it's like JFK is like John F. Kennedy, but he went by Jack, which is, yeah, they just start with a J. That's the only similarity between the two, but I don't. I think that it must be that there's not very many J names. And mine just happens to be my middle name. My first name and Jack are not even remotely related, because it's just like a middle name situation. But yeah, that is. But it's also like Richard and Dick. Like, I know that there must be historical reasons for those things, but I have no idea. I couldn't even begin to guess. My name is also Jack, but not Jack. There is a pattern to names like that. It has to be like the French English bullshit of like beef and cow, like cow coming from Old English, beef coming from Old French. Like, I feel like it has to be something along those lines, but I'm just totally unaware of what it is. Oh yeah, Peggy and Margaret. Yeah. I have no concept of why. It was pronounced Jackathan and Dickard. Yeah. You're totally right. It was Jackathan and Jonathan were the two were the two original names in French and Old English, and they got merged. Yeah.
Find that. Maybe I could help you.
That makes sense.
Otherwise, I'm out of tricks, friend. Sorry.
All right, I'll turn around to Owen Blackfoot, and I'm like, all right, mate, last chance. Why should I let you out?
Because I can be a good friend and help you out. I can get you money and women and...
This NPC failed the persuasion check. That's so funny.
travel anywhere you wish.
I've done all three of those things more than most men do in 3 lifetimes.
And you can have a 4th. Please, just let me out of here.
I'm thinking of a number between 1 and 3.
He's not.
2.
Shit. It's like only one of a couple that I know. All right, you get to come out.
Ah, wonderful. Thank you. And I'm a man of my word, don't you worry.
Can I insight check his
Go for
man
it.
of his word? Roll better. Shit, fuck, balls, ass, 3.
Seems legit.
Okay.
You have a face that is truly trustworthy. And I start looking for the key to his cell.
Okay. At this point, you've kind of run through the ring enough. You go ahead and take it from old Davin. Over time, you eventually get him free. As soon as he does, he goes like, stretches, kind of cracks his back a bit.
All right. Thank you kindly. So, let's be off.
And he charges up next to Noja and them, breezes past them, and you guys all kind of exit the outside of the Iron Stocks.
Over Noja's book.
Oh yeah, well, Noja, is there a location where your spellbook was last?
Oh, well, they took it from me when they arrested me. I don't know where they would have put it.
Yeah, well, Goliaths are awfully fond of books. Let's go find out, shall we? And we go back towards where I guess everybody last was.
I get that, Daniel. It's like Margaret, Maggie, Peggy. That kind of tracks. Richard, Rick, Dick. I'm still not really following the John and Jack connection. Or the, whatever G. Hercub put in, the Alexander, Sasha, Shurik. I mean, G. Hercub says the etymology makes sense, so it must be, something with the roots there, but that's funny. I don't think that is the explanation for the Jack one. Yeah, it's, I was just reminded of the rule without remembering the details. That's fair. It does make sense for several of them. Yeah, that totally makes sense. Could be related to R sounding like a D in Spanish. And that is also something that, like, I think about with, like, like the American melting pot or whatever of, like, a lot of different cultures, like, kind of combining in one shared landmass. It definitely resulted in some odd crossover that, like, generated new things from it. Richard, Rick, Dick, William, Bill, Robert, Rob, yeah. The linguist in me really wants to research this, but I can't because work. Yeah, that makes sense. John, Jock, Jack? Is jock a word? I've never heard the name jock. That's so funny. I think everyone called King Richard a dick behind his back. That has to be it. It all has to be celebrity based. I agree. That's weird. Yeah. It's I don't know if I'm like cultivating like a linguist subculture in my chat, but it is very much like a personal interest of mine. And I think it's more prevalent because of the international audience. A lot of you guys are bilingual at least. So I think that's what prompts a lot of it, but I love it. But I need to restrict myself. It's a Critical Role stream. I got to remember that. But I just want to talk about this. But I also want to watch Critical Role stuff.
Yeah. On the way there, Noja's like,
I do have one of my older spell books. I wouldn't have all of my materials. But I'll be back at my shop if we ever have a chance to stop by.
Oh, we could go there now if you'd like.
Certainly.
How far is it from here? I forget. It's been a few years.
Oh, it's just due east of where the temples are. About 25, 30 minutes up that way.
Hold that thought. I grab my earring and I say, can anybody hear me?
Can we?
At this point, yeah, it's not gone too far. Whoever's...
Oh,
What's
hey,
up,
we
Rob?
can hear you.
Right, so what if I told you I found somebody's name that rhymes with Dabris Koja?
Found Dabney Coleman.
Dabris.
It's Abris Noja.
Oh! Man, I didn't realize till now how many people we actually know. Its name rhymes with that.
Yeah, we're like really important.
Yeah, we know a lot of people.
So I'm gonna take him to find his spell book because I feel like he could be a great. You don't?
Oh,
Were you with us,
had
Percy?
met us. Yeah, you were.
Yeah,
Percy.
No, you met us. Remember who?
You were here, Percy. You were here.
Yeah, remember the guy who saved us at the first Winter's Crest Festival?
Oh yes, no, he was quite lovely.
Yeah, he's very nice.
Yeah, I found him.
Okay, I'm gonna let John bait me into talking about languages more because I wanna. Also, very funny. I don't even know what to call my accent. I don't even think it's like a standard thing, because Kansas has like the very neutral Midwest accent, but it's not far enough south to get like the southern twang on things like Oklahoma. But it's not far enough north to get the Canadian influences like the Dakotas. So it's just you know. But if I could have 5 Earth language proficiencies, it would be an easy Spanish, because that would just be like useful in the US. And then it would be probably it's either Japanese or Korean for the media extension. Probably Japanese. Then Mandarin. And then the 5th one is a real toss-up. The 5th one, I really don't know. Because I feel like once you know a Romance language, it's not that hard to hop to others. So like already knowing Spanish, I feel like I don't want to take Italian or Portuguese or anything like that. What do people in India speak? Is it Indian? Or is there another word for that language? What do people in India speak? Is it just Indian? The official language, Hindi. 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 I was like, I am almost positive that it's not called Indian. There's so many. Okay, interesting. I think I would go with Hindi, because there is so much like culture in India that I am like relatively unaware of. There's so many people, and there is so much to like learn there that like I absolutely could learn, but like knowing like Hindi, Bengali, Tamil, Gujarati. I hope I pronounced that right. Yeah, I would do some research and whatever the most useful language to learn about India. That's probably the one I would pick. Because I view languages as like tools to learn about other places. So that's probably what I would go with there. Do it have to be a still spoken language? I don't think so. I think you could go with like Latin or something. If you wanted, you could go with a dead language. I think that'd be chill. English, Spanish, Mandarin, Russian for practicality, Korean for funsies. Yeah, that's kind of my Japanese. My Japanese one is the for funsies because I do like anime, and being able to watch it not dubbed would be nice, and not have to read. One of the biggest Indian languages is a good choice for getting a large swath of people you could talk to. Yeah, that's kind of my thought process there. Yeah. That's also fair, Admiral Jackbar. I've got some priorities. It's like Spanish would be very locally useful. It's like Japanese is for funsies. Yeah, India is like not Indian. Hindi's like a utility one. Yeah, I think that's kind of my thought process. Yeah. I would pick the language of my online non-native speaker friends. That's also fair. Yeah. That's much more like practically useful. Yeah. Game the system, take languages no one can speak. Yeah, but it's a almost dead language at this point. There are only people who speak it exclusively, like 80. It's like Welsh or something. That would be really cool. It would be very, very cool to learn that sort of thing. But anyways.
I'm gonna get him a spell book. Does anybody want to come with, or are you all good?
I'm about to dig a trench.
I'm gonna
so
help
I'll
you do
pass.
that.
Keyleth, where are you right now?
Heading northeast.
With your lovely sister.
Northwest, sorry. It's noon, it's hard to tell in the sky right now. Northwest.
Are you with us, Pike? Yeah. Pike's
I'm
with
done.
us. I'm done.
Yeah, the attunement takes about an hour or so, half an hour.
Yeah, I just found you guys. Just hanging
Hey,
out.
what's up?
Oh,
Hey,
guys,
Pike.
you wanna come help us?
Grog, I can come with you, Grog, if you need some help.
Yes, the cube is always welcome.
Ooh, my goodness.
Please,
Gracious.
please. It's more like a Coke can. Okay.
What?
What? So, Scanlan, if you want to come meet us, we're over by the iron thing. How would I tell him where we are?
Iron stock. So you can describe it to him, and eventually he'll find his way there.
I'm over by this thing. La, 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 la.
Excellent description. I'm on my way.
And you've been in the town before. You guys have spent some time in Westland, so you know the basics around. All right, so you managed to meet up with these fellas, and so you make your way northward into the outskirts of Noja's shop. Noja's shop is untouched by the battle, it seems. It still stands.
Shit. Really?
He walks up and the doors open, looks inside, and kind of sighs heavily as the interior of his space has been picked clean.
Oh, son of a fucking looters.
Noja, were there any hidden compartments or secret safes where you kept the good stuff?
Well, follow me. And he kind of heads towards the back of the shop, heads into a room on the side which contains kind of his bed and his personal setup. That door is kicked in. There was a lock on it, but the lock is still kind of hanging as part of the door contraption. It seems like the actual door was just kicked inward and the wood splintered and left open. He steps inside, feels...
Actual session is 54. This is the day before they fight Umbrasil.
Above the doorway, there's a panel of wood that he kind of pulls aside and brings out. There is a singular book where he kind of pulls out and kind of sighs, blows dust off it. This is a bit rudimentary for what I require, but it's something. It's better than nothing. Puts it aside. Manages to find some pieces of his clothing that kind of been tossed in the middle of the floor as people were raiding the room, and gets out of his prison robes and puts them over that to just go ahead and not be as tattered as he looked. He does pull what looks like a small jug from it.
I mean, Spencer, you're taking the strat of pick the dawn chant, which is fair. That's a very fair strat. Just to learn the dawn chant at that point, yeah. Gold would be an interesting language. Oh my gosh. Man, again, I don't know why.
Ad incoming. Take cover.
We gotta stop talking about it, even though I'm part of the problem because I want to keep talking to y'all about it. I don't know how I cultivated this big linguist, or this not necessarily linguist, but just someone who's interested in linguistics. I don't know how I cultivated all these people. I guess to an extent, if I'm cultivating an international audience and I speak English, the people that are international have to at least be bilingual. So I guess there's a bit of that's a pretty distinct selection bias to an extent. What day do we do language streams? Dude, I've been thinking of I originally wanted to do language streams, but I don't know. I haven't found a good conceit for like a stream format. It's still on my mind, but I haven't really figured it out yet. So maybe someday. I don't know. You have at least one linguist following you. I have a degree. Fuck yeah. Hell yeah. That's sick. Anyways, we got an ad, and then I am shutting the language conversation. I'm shutting it down. I will have to... Yeah, I'll have to figure something out, because it's fun. It's so much fun to talk about.
Sets that aside.
Wait, shit. I have to... We're on a break. I'm not starting the scene again. Goodbye. Ba-da-da-da-doo-doo-doo. What's up? Hello, hello, hello. What's up? Is Kansas mad you didn't pick sign language? Probably. You know what I realized I was thinking about earlier today is not only, having the talking budget, but I already track what I call chunks on the back end. So they're, periods of talking without like a certain amount of silence. And I should also display the budget for those. Like, we could have like a separate budget, or not even maybe the budget necessarily, but just current like number of characters in current chunk could work that way, which sort of gets back to, you know, the original feel of the timer. You have period chunks too. I don't know if you meant to make it sound like that. But in the transcript, yeah, I like chunk out certain sections. And I have to I should put those on the budget. But anyways, I am ignoring the language talk. I'm not looking at it. It's not there. You guys can continue to talk. That's fine. I need to get better at that, allowing y'all have discussion. No, you can continue to have language talk. All good. Chat doesn't have to be only about what I'm talking about. But I need to do a better job of not engaging with every single chat message. And that's on me.
Kind of looks around his room. I guess let's see if there's anything in the shop that still remains. Steps around the way. Oof. All right. Yeah, most everything appears to have what's been taken or broken.
Search around. Help him search.
Yeah, is there anything we can help you find that you're looking for?
Anything intact, really?
Yeah, can we help him look for any vials or?
Make an investigation check.
Better. 17.
16.
16, okay. Looking around, most everything is ruined, destroyed, or missing. However, you do find what looks to be 2 unspoiled, undestroyed vials that were part of a display set that has been tossed over the side. Most of the fluid that contained those vials, like corks have been left open, glass and crystal have been shattered, and the contents had just stained the floor and dried over time in little sticky pools of different colors. You do find 2, one of which is kind of a yellowish fluid that's streaked with black swirls, and there is one.
I haven't played or DM'd a wizard in a long time, Admiral Jackbar, but that is my understanding. Because it's like if you lose your spell book, you still have the spells that you have prepared. You can keep them and like copy them into a new spell book. So my assumption would be that you don't have to have it on you unless you are using it as your focus. But you're not like reading out of the spell book to cast the spell. You memorize it for the day, and then you're good to go. Yeah.
That, it's like a clear liquid that has the liquid itself kind of fills the vial and then shrinks down to a tiny bead and then expands again to fill the vial. Like it's like a very, very slow heartbeat. Those are the 2 that you find.
What?
Yellow with black swirls, and then a clear
He'll just tell us what
potion
the
that
hell
is...
I assume.
Yeah.
Wait, sir, we're about to embark on a deadly adventure to try to clear this town so that you can once again live here safely. Might we trouble you to borrow these potions if they can be in some way helpful to us?
You have done me great service by getting me out of that hellhole. You are welcome to take these with you for now. I guess I have to start from scratch.
Do you know what they are?
Oh, yes, I'm sorry. He takes the vials, looks at them. Oh, this is a potion of diminution. It shrinks you to a smaller size.
Oh, I could be small!
It only lasts for a few hours, depending. The magic isn't perfect, but it does make you smaller upon time. This other one, this vial contains a liquid that will make you quite speedier. It will increase your metabolism for a short time. The world around you seems slow. It's quite effective.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, actually, have you ever seen this shrinking potion work? Like, how small does something get?
Pretty small. Like if on your size, and he kind of makes the shape about that big.
So teeny tiny.
For you, yes.
Like
For
a buddy.
you'd be about his size.
Oh, okay.
That would be the best thing ever.
This is excellent.
Now that you found... Oh, sorry, go ahead.
No. This is most helpful. Do you know anywhere also around here where we might pick up some chains, hooks, spears, javelin?
Those are not my forte. My apologies.
Right.
I mean, check a general goods store, perhaps?
Oh no, this is so helpful. Thank you. Let me
Grayson, here are your potions.
That book that you got, it's not your favorite, right? The one that was hidden above the door.
No, but it'll do at least. Do you wish...
Yeah,
You wish me to inspect that weapon for you?
Yeah, would you mind? I've never done that before, but the last one I had talked to me.
That's unsettling. That's very unsettling.
Yeah, among other things.
the dwarf and the woman still kind of waiting at the door. They've picked through things. They're finding some glass, and over time they can't find anything else. He takes the hour to rest and regains, after some quick preparation, the use of at least his identify spell. Takes the axe, holds it for a moment, chants some incantation that you don't understand. There's a brief glow on the weapon, and around the outskirts of his fingers, a brief glow around his temples. And as it fades, he goes,
Well, if what you worry about is the presence of some sort of sentience, I can assure you, you need not worry.
Ooh.
This is merely a tool, a powerful one at that.
and he begins to tell you what it does, which is exactly what you already know after attunement.
No long card coming.
You know, there's something kind of small and interesting that Matt just did there, just for, he didn't say out loud for the sake of brevity. So I was about to say, Admiral Jackbar, yeah, that was my interpretation, is that he's out of spell slots. And so I think the assumption is that he's a wizard and he's using something akin to arcane recovery. But what I was going to say, it doesn't even need to be that exact. Because, as I have gone to great lengths to discuss, NPCs don't and shouldn't use player stat sheets, player, class sheets. So they can have abilities, even if they are mimicking. Can wizards change it? No, not traditionally. What about ritual casting? Is identify ritualable? I don't know. Either way, what Matt was doing there is saying okay, we need to take this time. He gets his spell slot back. Now he can cast identify. Even though Abjur Noja is clearly supposed to be reminiscent of the player class wizard, he does not have to go by the same rules as a wizard, both positively and negatively. So, identifies a ritual. G-Hergib saying they're always prepared. They don't have to prepare them. In a negative way, NPCs don't have to follow those rules. But on the opposite end, you can absolutely give them just ad hoc the ability to maybe recover some spell slots or change prep in a way that a player class wizard cannot. Those are totally within your abilities as a DM. So especially if you're Matt and you can't remember exactly how a wizard works because you don't have a wizard in the party. Scanlan can ritual cast, and probably Keyleth as well. I think druids can ritual cast, but neither of them have identify, or they haven't used it recently. So, maybe you don't know off the top of your head how it works. Giving Abjur Noja the ability to either quickly change his prepped spells or give him the ability to very quickly get the equivalent of a spell slot back is a totally valid, ad hoc NPC ability to give him, because he's not bound by the same rules as a player character wizard, in both directions, both for better and worse. I'm not convinced Matt doesn't just use fully PC stat blocks. I think you're probably right. I think you are right. I don't think that's a good thing, but this is more me pointing out separately, for your at-home stuff. Even if an NPC is supposed to evoke a certain class comparison, they don't necessarily have to follow the rules of that class. That is, that class is just one incarnation of a power set. Usual NPC spell slots versus monsters in multiverse X time. Yeah. I mean, you really, monsters use all sorts of different mechanics. You can ad hoc those things. Sorcerer didn't play by the rules anyway. I've always understood ritual spells. No, I think I think that Matt just didn't remember that aspect. So yeah, if Matt was going by and this is what I'm saying, is like, you know, NPCs don't have to follow the rules in both negative and positive ways. Yeah, it would be easier for Abra or Noja to cast Identify if he was going by a PC stat sheet. It would be much easier. He could just do it. And I think this is probably, you know, in the show, probably just a case of Matt forgetting that, or, you know, maybe not knowing it in the first place. But separate from that, this strat is very viable, even if you're not, you know, making it up. So yeah.
Thank you, Abris. You are as wise as you are old.
What? Old?
Anything else?
I'm only 48, but thank you.
That's lost on me. Do you need anything else?
Oi! I'm enthralled by these potions. They're fantastic, and I'm enthralled and so happy that we met you again and all that. I totally remembered who you were.
It's good to see that you're all doing fine, considering the circumstances. Stay safe. I'll take up the pieces I can.
Should we tell him to get out of the city or fight with us?
Well, I was going to ask. You do know what is beset upon this city, right? The horrible calamity that's coming.
I saw the dragon tear through, yes.
We aim to finish the dragon, maybe even tomorrow, and make Western free once again. Would you have any interest in aiding us in this fight, or are you past the point of putting up a brave battle?
And you see him standing there, even just a sitting here, time his knees are wobbling a little bit. He goes, I'm afraid I wouldn't be of much aid at this moment without my proper spell book. I have a few child treats at my disposal, and he sifts through a few pages, and he seems to... And the book looks like it's pretty old, like probably his training manual when he first began to study as a practitioner of the martial arts. He goes, I don't know how much of a use I'd be, unfortunately.
The day's still young. What say we give, like, a solid effort to finding your bigger books? And then if you can't find it, and you can lend no aid to us, we'll make sure you find yourself safely on your way.
All right, fair enough. Well, come, let us look. Perhaps we should give another once-over of the rather seemingly destroyed interior of that prison.
Yeah.
It was like Amelia and old Davin have nothing else better to do. They begin to aid you for a bit, although Amelia is eager and mentions the possibility of going and checking in on the farmsteads on the outside of town.
Yeah.
About that. Orn Blackfoot?
Yep.
Gone.
Yeah, figured. Not much.
He has peace.
Shocking.
Yeah.
He left.
Yeah, you guys take a moment when you start deciding what to do, and you look around, and he's just gone.
I thought you had him.
I thought you had him. I clearly said when you came up, watch the guy with the black feet. What'd you do?
I was watching you. You have disgusting black feet. You walk around barefoot. You're disgusting.
I really can't argue with that. Well, whatever. I saved a life. Go me. I'll take it later. Yeah, so can we go back into prison, not to take away from everything else, and maybe look for chains? Like some hooks? Maybe some, like, broken bars?
The two of you guys make one more investigation check. This will signify the next few hours of you guys looking for the things you want.
Oh god, roll really good.
22.
19.
Yes.
Between the two of you, working into and past dusk, you managed to acquire quite a number of chains. It's fun.
Yeah, I think you know, I was saying, you know, oh, maybe you don't want to spring this on them. Like we talked about, like not springing kind of the downtime-esque system on the players last time. But I think that this is a very solid example of like the type of like day-long downtime activity. The only like the main critique that I would give to Matt or about this like DMing strategy is kind of introducing those large like multi-hour long sort of downtime-esque chunks depending on what they're engaging with. So it's like, okay, use activity to handle in real time, but this other activity we're going to handle in downtime style stuff. Now, I understand the reason that he's doing that is because he's very rarely done this downtime as like kind of an explicit, no, Oh, we're back. Man. I don't even know what that was. That's not... It didn't spike anything on here. It didn't spike anything over here. Like it didn't show any warnings on the modem. It didn't show any warnings. Oh no, it did show warnings in the modem. It's the modem. Oh shit. This is what I saw yesterday. Oh, son of a shit. Okay. That's productive. That's productive. We're learning things. Yep, okay. There was a critical warning in the modem's logs. So it might be faulty equipment. If all of this turns out to just be a faulty piece of modem, like a faulty modem, like a faulty piece of equipment, I would be happy that it's solved, but I would be so intensely frustrated by it. Okay, we'll see if it happens again. I will check this event log. I definitely don't want to show this event log on stream because it has like IP addresses. But holy shit. Okay. Yeah, because it's showing like critical type failures. That's crazy. Okay. So it is cursed. Yeah, apparently. Or it's just that fucking modem is busted. We're gonna have to see. There doesn't seem to be any like actual timing reasoning for it, and it's giving a timing synchronization error. But it might just require like a modem reset. Okay. If it happens again, we'll see. We'll see, and maybe this is something I will be able to look into off stream to see if it's the issue. Interesting. What were we talking about? I don't remember. Oh, downtime stuff. Yeah. In general, I get why he's not doing it here. To just go back to that one really quickly. I get why he's not doing it here. But I definitely this definitely feels like a good place to implement that sort of thing. The modem can't handle all the languages. Yeah, I can't handle all the languages, all the different dialects. Yeah.
Funny, a prison seems to have a lot at their disposal. They have a queue of chains that are used various lengths. Some of them may have to be put together to make the length of what you're looking for, but between ramshackle manacles to just lengths of chain that are used to opening gates and used to seal elements of the subterranean portion of this prison, you manage to acquire quite a bit. You do, towards the end of the evening, manage to find a partially destroyed remnants of Noja's spellbook. He seems a little disappointed as soon as he sees the state it's in. A lot of the pages have been burnt and kind of torn out.
I'm sorry.
It's all right. There are some here that are of use to me.
Oh.
And if I can be of any assistance tomorrow in this fray, hopefully at a distance. How big is this dragon, you said?
Oh, it's like 7 feet.
Excuse me.
Oh, well, then I could definitely be of help there. Not don't worry. All right, I'll prepare myself best I can.
We'll keep you on the outsides with those that are not,
Do you
can't
have
take
any
a good one of them.
healing potions or anything? Or I'm sorry, healing spells?
That's not my speciality, I fear, and the potions I had are now soaking in the floorboards of my humble shop.
Not that I would understand, but could you tell us what your speciality is?
Abjuration.
Of course.
Yeah.
It's the School of Magic, of which
I'm familiar with that.
Oh, yeah.
I'll look it up
Abris.
later.
Yeah. Abris. Noja.
No idea what that means.
It actually took me a while
Just
to
like
get that too.
claymation.
Oh, like puppets.
Uh-huh.
I'm a big fan of puppets.
All right, we'll talk. Get some rest. Try to put the pieces of your place back together. And
I will come to me when the time is ready to face
Yes.
this fiend, this foul creature, and I'm happy to help.
Good night.
Oh, yeah, we should probably make him a part of the feast.
Okay.
Oh, all right.
We'll come get you later tonight.
All right.
I'm gonna track down the women after talking to them over the earring.
Okay.
Straight from Percival. Once I get sight of them, can I talk to you for a minute?
Sure.
Yeah, just a minute. I know you're busy.
She's super busy, brother.
Yeah, 2 minutes. 2 minutes.
So busy.
Thanks, Stubbs. You're way more powerful than I am. And I don't know what I'm gonna. God damn it! Is that a
So
spell?
many noises happening.
You're gonna be doing a lot more damage than I am tomorrow. It's not like I'm gonna run up and stab the thing in the back. I feel like you're probably gonna be.
I mean, I definitely get that, and like agree to an extent. It's I also take the strategy of not acknowledging them to be any particular class, just to not even invite the comparison. But they're definitely I view it sort of like spells, where the spells in the player's handbook and in any, future supplements are explicitly defined to not be a comprehensive summary of all of the spells that exist. So the way that I think about that further when it comes to like classes and NPCs is when you have a wizard in your party, that is one way to be a wizard. In the same way that like there might be other subclasses of wizard that just aren't discovered yet, or that you could invent for your setting, like Matt invents eventually like graviturgy and chronorgy. So and I will also say, when I talk about like, NPCs being able to break the rules, I don't necessarily mean break. It's more that they can operate under a different set of rules from the PCs. And you can come up with those rules on the spot, Like you can come up with those rules on the spot, but this kind of goes back to my pretty consistent, tone that I strike at my table of once I make a ruling, I try to be as consistent with that ruling as possible into the future. So if you define this ability for Noja, I would, after the session, I would be like, oh, Noja did this thing. I need to like figure out the exact mechanics of that and like how that affects him as an NPC and as a potential combatant. So it is, but that all said, I totally understand the desire to avoid the comparison. I do not want to invite the comparison from my players either, for those sorts of reasons. So I would probably call Abris Noja a mage or something, and I would probably add in some extra flavor of why or of a certain distinction between whatever Abris Noja is and a player wizard. Like I would probably forcefully add in some extra flavor to distinguish the two so that the players aren't as caught off guard if he does something that doesn't align with like a player class wizard. Players at my table have a hard time comprehending NPCs can have different abilities than PCs. I mean, can and should. NPCs should use monster stat blocks, and monster stat blocks use very different mechanics from PC stat blocks. So yeah, it's very weird, especially when you see an NPC and you're like, oh, that NPC is like me. But it's kind of like how like a hobgoblin player is going to have different features than the hobgoblin monster. You know, I think that it's like even in terms of like racial features. So there's definitely, I think there are more obvious ways that you can compare the two, like compare and contrast the two. But I agree. I generally try not to even invite the comparison. Yeah. I do not disagree with this. Yeah. I saw a no blip in the stream watching it not live, so I think all the video eventually got to YouTube. Oh, really? It was just me like looking down for a while. That's interesting. Implying class can be narrative. I met an NPC who could Eldritch Blast and implied a Warlock patron was an introduction to a power in a nearby location. Very true. Yeah. Like you can absolutely use those sorts of things as narrative foreshadowing. I agree. Yeah. Yeah. Anyways, yeah, I think it's a weird thing to interact with, but it can be done.
He's too busy to be using Fastbender.
Yeah, do you want Fastbender? I was actually going to offer him to you. I feel like you might...
I think I want to be of use, so yeah.
I'm pretty sure you don't have to worry about that.
So it just goes on the head, and how does it work? What do I talk to it, or do I think it, or what do I do?
So you give it a command. It takes your full concentration to give it a command, and then once you do that, it will enact that plan until it's complete or until you tell it otherwise.
All right.
And if you want it to cast a slow spell, you have to focus and tell it to do that.
Okay. Do I say like slow?
You know, I don't know. You're just gonna wing it. I kept talking to him like it was a person, and I don't think that's necessarily the way to go.
And maybe I'll crack. Where did you park him?
It's still in Scanlan's mansion.
Oh.
Is that still there?
Susan.
Yes. All right.
Well,
He might be
based on the
objected,
time that spell was
actually.
cast, the 24-hour duration has expired. All
So
things in
he's
the mission
actually,
have been jettisoned from the doorway.
Including your granddad.
So he's in Wilhand's house with Wilhand.
Great.
Yeah.
Well, I'll take that.
Yeah. Hopefully Wilhand's watching over him right now, actually.
Might have destroyed your house.
It might have destroyed Wilhand's house. Yeah.
Kiki.
Yes.
What is that?
God, this is the weirdest field.
Percy,
please.
tinker quietly, please. I think he's eating popcorn or maybe opening a butterscotch candy in a theater or
I
something.
can't even see you guys, so you
What do you...
Oh, he went away. Oh, this is just not.
Okay, really quick.
Okay, well, at least you started.
Yes. This seems to happen all the time, every time we try to talk to each other. I don't think I really... Continue. It's hard to have a conversation.
Continue, please.
Hello. Yeah, first of all, I'll talk to you in a minute, all right?
Shut up, Percy. Thank you.
I've been.
Okay. Yup. We've got it. I have the logs. I can see exactly when the buffering started happening. There's a bunch of warnings and such in the Doxus logs. Yep. Okay. I'm going to note these. And especially now that I know, well, especially because I know what's happening, and there does not seem to be any kind of rhyme or reason for it that we can do. We're going to fucking, as much as it pains me to my core, gonna end stream, but if this is one, yeah, we're gonna have a 0.5. if I can figure out the issue, if I can't figure out the issue, we just won't stream tomorrow. If I can figure out the issue, we will wrap up. We will do this episode again tomorrow. Because I won't need a fucking rest day, will I? So. We're, yep. But I have it. I can see what's going on. I have the logs. So I'm going to call the internet company, see if I need to get a new modem, see if I can just reset the modem on my end, see what I can do. God, dude. We're being fucked. Buy us dinner first. Yeah, lol. It is probably, I was tempting the curse. I really was. God. Okay. We're gonna leave it there. We're gonna finish this stream. But now, if I didn't even know what the issue is, I don't even know what I would fucking do. But especially since I can see it. Like, it was like, oh, it started right here, went to there, started there, went to there. Forced to buy a new modem? Maybe. I mean, I shouldn't even have to buy it. This is just like the modem that's provided. I have separate third-party routers. So like the modem's just provided by the company, but I don't know why these errors are happening. So I'm gonna end stream. I'm gonna call them right now because they'll be open, and we're gonna figure it out. And if I I'll let you guys know. If I can figure it out, we will probably be live with Critical Role tomorrow. If I can't, probably not live tomorrow, and I will update you on Wednesday. So we're ending there. I have a plan, and oh my God. Single biggest challenge in my fucking streaming career. God. Thank you all. I feel like I've said this a million times now. Thank you all so much for your patience. I appreciate you. We will get this figured out, and then it'll just be gravy, baby. Or I'll move to a new fucking apartment. So I'll see y'all later. Thanks again for joining. Have a good night. And hopefully, everyone cross your fingers. I will see you tomorrow. Goodbye.